Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, reported misuse of funds that leads to an investigation in Refugio. Plus, history comes alive at the Victoria County Courthouse as students step back in time. And President Trump calls a major Supreme Court decision a disgrace.
We've got some big changes coming in over the weekend. While we've been warm, well, Saturday, a big strong north wind kicks in, and then we're going to be a little chilly by the time we get to Sunday. We'll also be talking about high fire danger. All that coming up in a moment.
Plus, crews hit the water today to tackle a hidden threat lurking in our coastal bays. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. A Victoria man is behind bars after a joint investigation into child exploitation. The Victoria County Sheriff's Office says it was contacted by the FBI earlier this month about explicit images of a child being shared online. Investigators say they traced those images back to Victoria resident William Cover. After working together on the case, authorities arrested the 50-year-old, and he is now charged with sexual performance by a child and indecency with a child. Texas Rangers have launched an investigation in Refugio over possible misuse of economic development funds. 24th Judicial District Attorney Brian Cromines confirms the Texas Rangers are looking into reports that money was withdrawn from the EDC account and reportedly used by the city without proper approval. This comes after Mayor Wanda Dukes was removed from the EDC board in late January over an alleged conflict of interest. Well, history comes alive at the Victoria County Courthouse today. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley was at the courthouse to witness this and joins us to explain the importance of the lesson. Ray?
Our Lady of Victory students performed their 7th annual Living History trial, where students put themselves in a pivotal part of history.
So you were in Boston at that time?
8th grade students from Our Lady of Victory stepped back in time to the Boston Tea Party and the Boston Massacre. Even though these events happened more than 250 years ago, they played a major role in shaping the country we live in today. Student Lily Cano played a witness in the Boston Tea Party trial, where the Sons of Liberty tossed the equivalent of over $1 million of tea into the Boston Harbor on December 16, 1773.
Makes me feel excited. I was nervous at first, but it's an important part in history because so we don't repeat it.
Lily's mom says the students spent 2 months getting ready for this mock trial and writing their own witness statements.
They did a lot of research. They worked very hard. Everyone learned their parts, and it's a wonderful moment for them, a learning educational moment for them, because they got to talk about a historical event in the historical courthouse.
The lesson gave the students a unique way to learn history and how the judicial system works at the same time. And while they may be in 8th grade, today they prove history isn't just something you read about, it's something you can experience. Shawna?
Well, let's go outside now and check in with Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez is actually inside, but he's going to take us outside to take a look at the weather. And pretty warm and humid today, but this is going to be changing, right?
Yes, it is. That frontal system rolls through our area tomorrow around noontime. You'll really feel the wind turn around. It'll be a northwest wind and it'll be rather breezy. And because our humidity is just going to drop off the table and high winds, and we're very dry, we are going to be in a high fire danger. We have a fire weather watch, warning rather, for everybody west of Victoria. But you know, we should be very cautious as well. In fact, even those of you in Port Lavaca. We also have a small craft advisory out over the inner waters because of the high winds that are going to come in. Now, the temperature tomorrow will get up to about 80 degrees before the front comes in. Temperature on Sunday is only going to top out in the mid 60s. So yeah, it's even getting cooler. We'll talk all about it coming up in just a moment. Shawna?
Well, if you see weather or news happening, give us a call in the newsroom at 361-576-0026 or send us an email to staff@crossroadstoday.com. A landmark decision by the Supreme Court today, the court striking down most of President Trump's tariffs. The justices ruling the president did not properly use his emergency powers when putting those tariffs in place. ABC's Christian Cordero has the latest on what this means moving forward.
Today, a visibly frustrated President Trump called the Supreme Court's decision a disgrace. The 6-3 majority opinion strikes down most of his sweeping tariffs against dozens of trading partners.
How ridiculous is that? I'm allowed to embargo them. I'm allowed to tell them you can't do business in the United States anymore. We want you out of here. But if I want to charge them $10, I can't do that.
Chief Justice John Roberts wrote in the majority opinion that the president does not have the authority to impose tariffs without approval from Congress. Justice Brett Kavanaugh was the only one of the 3 Trump handpicked for the court to side with him, writing that he disagrees with the court's opinion, but adding he believes Trump may find another way to impose tariffs. Trump today announced his plan to do just that through a different statute.
Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged.
The majority opinion considers Trump's tariffs a tax which only Congress controls. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer responding.
Today's SCOTUS decision was a win for the wallets of every American consumer that carried the burden of Trump's stupid trade war, and now he's doing it all over again.
The Yale Budget Lab estimates Trump's tariffs cost the average U.S. household more than $1,600 a year. The revenue the government collected topped more than $142 billion last year. It's unclear if the government will now have to pay that back. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Crews started heading out on the water today for the Texas Abandoned Crab Trap Removal Program. It's a statewide effort to clean up our coastal bays. Abandoned traps don't just sit there, they ghost fish, trapping blue crabs, turtles, and other wildlife, even creating navigation hazards. During a short closure period, volunteers and partner agencies will sweep the bays, haul in those traps, and dispose of them properly, protecting crab populations and marsh habitats in the process. Last year alone, San Antonio Bay Partnership volunteers pulled more than 1,000 traps from the San Antonio Bay system. To get more news, weather, and sports headlines, come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. And stay with us. Still ahead on 25 News Now at 5, a church that served as more than just a house of worship in Victoria for generations now faces an uncertain future. Plus, a disease closely linked to the heart can strain your body's most vital organs.
For a growing number of people in our community, nighttime doesn't mean sleep. It means survival. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting takes a closer look at homelessness here at home, the challenges people face every day, and what's being done to help.
Being able to go take a shower and rest and good to go to work the next day and be comfortable without having to go to work dirty, that'd be awesome.
Life Without a Home. Thursday at 10 p.m.
What might look like an abandoned building to some on the south side of Victoria is ripe with history for others. As 25 News Now weekend anchor Amaya Norman shows us, the historic church is being remembered for its lasting legacy, despite no longer holding services.
Salter Chapel African Methodist Episcopal Church on Cameron Street stands as a symbol of faith and history in Victoria's Black community.
And it was a family church. It was a family church. It was made up of a lot of families there at the church.
The church is part of the African Methodist Episcopal Church, one of the oldest independent Black Christian denominations in the United States.
And they started a church in a blacksmith shop. Richard Allen was the first. He was the founder and the bishop of the AME Church.
Allen founded the AME Church in Philadelphia in 1816, along with free Black Americans seeking the right to worship independently. After the Civil War, the church expanded into Texas as missionaries arrived in 1866. Salter Chapel was established during Reconstruction, serving African Americans in Victoria.
In Victoria, we had special program, Black History program, homecoming, stewardess and trustees program, different program. And during that time, I had a lot of support. We had a lot of support from the community.
Historically, AME churches like Salter Chapel not only served as houses for worship, they were a center for education, culture, and life within Black communities.
Because it used to fill up the whole parking lot out here, and the people would come dressed up to the T, you know? And it just saddens me that all this is stopped.
But there hasn't been a worship service inside the building since 2022.
And that it's a forgotten jewel that's here in Victoria that needs to be recognized. The worst thing in the world is to have a forgotten church. And I think it's rich in history, culture, and just love.
Community members say service stopped due to declining membership and financial challenges, but say the church's legacy lives on. A local family cares for the property, maintaining the grounds and preserving the history of Salter Chapel. Amaya Norman, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
The Department of Veterans Affairs is pulling back a proposed rule that worried disabled veterans nationwide. The change would have considered how well veterans function on medication when deciding disability ratings, possibly affecting monthly payments. After backlash and 3 court rulings saying benefits cannot be reduced based on medication effects, the VA has now stopped the rule. More than 1 in 7 adults in the U.S. is living with chronic kidney disease, and the CDC says up to 90% don't even know it. Left untreated, it can cause permanent damage, even be deadly. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains who is at risk and what you can do about it.
It's called the silent killer. Chronic kidney disease can progress before it's ever detected.
We've got an epidemic of kidney disease in this country.
Dr. Samir Parikh with the American Society of Nephrology says kidneys play a crucial role in the body and are closely linked to the heart since they constantly filter and clean blood. But when those filters are damaged, it can also strain the heart, and they don't regenerate.
So the filters we're born with have to last us our lifetime.
Parikh says conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and obesity can cause permanent damage to the kidneys, and as it's happening, there's often no pain.
The conditions wind up being very asymptomatic until you get to advanced stages. And even then, the symptoms can just be nonspecific, like fatigue or loss of appetite.
That's why Parikh says if you have risk factors or a family history of kidney disease, it's critical to get your numbers checked.
There's one test that tests how much filtering your kidneys are doing. That's a blood test. And there's another test that asks, are these filters becoming leaky or not working well? That's a urine test.
Parikh says early detection and treatment of kidney disease can significantly slow and even stop damage before it's too late.
Don't wait for symptoms.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Dr. Parikh says you can also take care of your kidneys by doing the things that also keep your heart healthy, including having a healthy diet, low in sodium and rich in whole foods, vegetables, and lean proteins. A small group of Vietnam War veterans is suing the Trump administration over the president's plan to build a massive arch in Washington, D.C. Trump wants to build the Independence Arch to commemorate the nation's 250th anniversary, envisioning a bigger version of the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. The group says the arch could obstruct the symbolic view between Arlington National Cemetery and the Lincoln Memorial, dishonoring those who have served in the military.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We have 78 degrees right about now and fairly, quiet, warm weather. However, everything's going to be changing over the weekend as our wind direction is going to be changing, okay? We'll talk about that coming up in a moment. We managed to get up to 80 today. 67 was the overnight low. By Sunday, the high temperature is going to be about 66. So, yeah, cool down coming in. We'll talk about it after this.
Here's a look at what you can expect on Community Crossroads. We hear from the Victoria Symphony, we hear from Ashley Furniture, and the City of Victoria.
For the City of Victoria, this marks a new era in our ability to provide public safety services, a new era for our employees and for our community as a whole. As part of the ribbon cutting ceremony, there'll be an opportunity for the public to go on a self-guided tour.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are looking for a big change. There's the reason why. It's a frontal system that's moving in our direction. This one to the north of us is basically stalled, so it's really not the one. We've got the humid air right ahead of it. Behind it, it's a little bit drier, but this one is a little bit sharper of a front because it's going to give us a strong north wind over the weekend. The storm itself, this is the one that you might remember early in the week. It came across California, and now it's over Nevada. Now it's coming out over Colorado. So as it breaks out, it'll be a big weather maker here, but we're just going to get the dry side of it, unfortunately. The other bad news that I have for you is that we're going to be in a high fire danger once the winds turn around. So just keep that in mind. I mean, Victoria County is not under the gun, but come on. If everybody else is under a fire weather warning, we should be following it as well because of the high winds up to 30 miles an hour, maybe stronger, very low humidities, and then of course everything's dry for winter dry. Things have not greened up yet, and we certainly haven't had enough rain. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. We also have small craft advisories out over the Gulf waters. The fire weather watch comes in probably Saturday about noontime, and then it'll be with us all the way through Sunday. Sunday's a little blasted and breezy. Now here's the other, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, I'm just wanting you to prepare you. The winds are going to be strong enough that some of the tree branches may be hitting some of our power lines, and then we have power problems as well. So just consider what all the wind can do for us as we go through that over the weekend. Now tonight we'll have some fog down along the immediate coastline, but inland areas, probably Cuero is not going to see it. And then of course once that front comes through tomorrow afternoon, lunchtime probably, it's all going to blow away. And then we're going to be clear and dry for the next few days. The high temperatures will be taking a drop. Look at that. We're looking at 80 tomorrow before the front comes in, and then 68 on Sunday. That's the high. And then the 69 will be on the high on Monday, 73 on Tuesday. And then guess what? We warm back up into the 80s again. So it's a 3-day cool snap that'll be blowing through the region. We'll take a look at the big picture so you can see there's winter storm number 1. Here's winter storm number 2 coming out, but it's just not going to do much for us. And the other good news is that there's another big storm on the west coast. As long as they keep pushing down and through, we've got a shot at getting something. Unfortunately, this second one's not going to be doing much of anything other than giving us that dry north wind. As you can see right here, it's going to be a northwest wind, and that's a dry air mass as far as we're concerned. We're going to be looking at very low humidities as well for at least 3 or 4 days. We watch and wait for the next one. It's just not going to be this one. So let's take a look at your day planner for tomorrow in the Port Lavaca area. Looking to start off with the fog and low clouds. The winds will be light early in the morning. Then by late in the day, they'll be 20 to 30 miles an hour. So it'll be quite breezy in the afternoon and evening hours. And in Cuero, pretty much the same thing. We start off with the fog and low clouds, then it'll all blow away as the winds kick in out of the north and be rather gusty all the way through Sunday, okay? And then by Monday, we're clear and cool with temperatures at night dropping down into the 40s. That's where you got to watch out in the nighttime for the cold air. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. Put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Shawna.
Well, straight ahead, new data reveals inflation reached its highest point in nearly 2 years. We'll have a closer look. Stocks skyrocketing today after the Supreme Court struck down most of President Trump's tariffs. The Dow climbing over 230 points, the S&P 500 gaining over 47 points, and the Nasdaq adding 203 points. The price of oil down slightly today by 4 cents to $66.39 a barrel. Americans are feeling the pinch of inflation. New Commerce Department data shows inflation hit a 21-month high of 2.9%. Delayed data from December shows the personal consumption expenditures price index jumped 0.4% in December. Consumer spending rose just 0.1% from November. Personal income remained flat and savings actually shrank. The inflation rate is slightly higher than economists estimated. The growth of America's gross domestic product slowed at the end of last year as well, according to a Commerce Department report released today. The nation's output of goods and services increased at a 1.4% annual rate in the fourth quarter of 2025. That is down from 4.44% in the July-September quarter and 3.8% in the quarter before that. A downturn in government and consumer spending contributes to the slowdown in fourth quarter growth, according to the government. Well, egg prices have started to crack. The average price of a dozen eggs in the U.S. is now $2.58. That's about half of what shoppers were paying just a year ago. Last year's avian flu outbreak caused prices to spike, killing 70 million egg-laying birds. Farmers then worked to rebuild their flocks. Well, that created a surplus of eggs, which means they're now having to sell those eggs at a loss. Experts say this could put some smaller family farms out of business, those who lost birds to the flu and are now losing money on lower egg prices. Nissan has issued a recall for its compact crossover SUV, the Rogue. The recall applies to more than 600,000 vehicles for two different issues. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 2023 to 2025 Rogue models are at risk of engine failure because of increased oil temperature. And 2024 to 2025 Rogues have an electronic throttle body system that could break. Both issues put cars at risk for accidents. Owners should take their cars to a Nissan dealership for free repairs. Well, still ahead, police use a festival celebration to pull off a very elaborate undercover, literally, bust. We'll show you how it all went down.
Tonight, breaking news. The Supreme Court deals a stunning blow to President Trump's emergency tariffs. What happens now? Plus, tracking severe storms and a potential nor'easter. And authorities search the former home of former Prince Andrew. More Americans turn to world news tonight with David Muir, the #1 newscast in America.
Well, taking a look at an elaborate undercover police bust involving a suspected serial thief. Officers donned an ornate lion costume with a hidden camera inside at a street fair in South Thailand. Their goal was to catch a suspect wanted on multiple counts of theft. The ruse appears to work as the cops went from dancing in the garish getup to quickly taking down the suspect. Police tracked the man for weeks before this after multiple thefts before using the Lunar New Year celebration to pull off the elaborate bust.
So
don't think he was expecting that lion to
eat
suddenly,
him.
yes,
The lion is swallowed
attack.
in whole. So right now everybody's celebrating Chinese New Year, the year of the horse. So
yes.
There's a lot of lions out there celebrating. Well, so much for that guy. As far as we're concerned, folks, tomorrow we start off quiet in the morning with the fog and low clouds, but then by afternoon, a strong gusty north wind is going to blow in, and it's going to be howling Saturday and Sunday. Just keep in mind, we're in a fire danger because of the wind.
All right, a little bit cooler this weekend.
Yes, by Sunday for sure.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for 25 News Now at 6.